Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for my week 25 to the end of the second trimester pregnancy vlog. That's another trimester down, and now we're closer to meeting baby potato. Only 12 more weeks. As I mentioned in my previous video, week 25 starts off with my first glucose test. This one is non-fasting. I've looked on many forums and I noticed that a lot of women argue back and forth on whether or not you're supposed to fast, and honestly it really depends on your doctor, because obviously it's what the doctor ordered you to do and told you to do. So don't trust what other people are saying, just do what you're told to do, because that's how they will look at your results. So I'm at Kaiser and I think maybe it's protocol for the first glucose test to be non-fasting, and so my doctor told me to have some protein in the morning, some eggs, sausage, bacon. Obviously don't eat anything sweet like Pop-Tarts and muffins and stuff like that. So I checked into the lab and they gave me a little bottle of 50 milligrams of glucose, and it tasted like flat orange soda, which to me tastes good. I don't know if other people have different flavors or if they just don't like the taste of it, but I liked it, so I was fine with it. So you have to drink that bottle within 5 minutes and then you come back in an hour to get your blood test. During that time, you are not allowed to walk around and exercise too much because that can skew your results, and you're not supposed to eat anything else. You can only drink a little bit of water. The next day was actually Mother's Day, and we decided to fly out to San Diego for Mother's Day / baby moon. It was purely for relaxation. We didn't really see any sights besides the Japanese Friendship Garden, and we just ate a ton of food. And it was actually my first time getting a prenatal massage as well, and so that was a really great experience. Honestly, I wish she could work on my back a little bit more, but obviously you're laying down on your tummy and you don't want to put too much pressure on the back and squish the baby or anything like that, so it's understandable. And so while I was in San Diego, I actually ate as if it was going to be my last meals there, because I was convinced I would fail the glucose test, and that was because I did drink water during that waiting period, and when I peed it was clear, so I felt like my body wasn't processing the sugar as it should have. I found out at the end of my trip that I actually did fail by 3 points. So the highest acceptable number within the normal range is 139, and I scored a 142. So this time I had to schedule a 3-hour fasting glucose test. Apparently it's really common for women to fail the first glucose test by a couple points. Usually they'll pass the 3-hour test with flying colors. So I wasn't really too worried about it, and I ended up going back to the lab the day after we came back from our trip. Obviously I wasn't eating perfect while I was gone, but I'd rather go there and get accurate results than to try to eat healthy for a couple of days to see if my results get better. So for the fasting test, normally you have to fast for at least 8 hours, which is why people choose to sleep and then they go straight there in the morning. So when you check in, you do get your first blood draw in your fasting state, and then they give you the glucose drink, which is 100 milligrams instead of 50. This one tasted like flat Sprite, which tasted fine to me as well. It's just because it was on an empty stomach, it made me feel really bad. It was way too sugary because I didn't have anything else in my stomach. It just made me feel really nauseous and shaky, and I really wanted to throw up. But the lab technician did advise me before to try to keep it down and not to throw up, because if I do throw up, then the test pretty much ends and I have to come back again another day to try it all over again. So every hour for 3 hours, you have to get your blood drawn, and I'll post my results down below because I don't remember them all. Long story short, I did pass. Well, I mean, when I saw my results, it was within the range and no one called me to say I failed or anything like that, so I assume I'm all clear of gestational diabetes. I was worried for the longest time that I did have gestational diabetes because my mother had it for both me and my brother, and she ended up with type 2 diabetes after that. I think it is understandable why she ended up with diabetes, because from what she told me, when she was pregnant both times she did nothing. And I mean literally nothing. Like, she would make my dad do everything in the house and she would just sit there because she thought that she couldn't do anything while pregnant. She never exercised and she didn't eat as healthy as she probably should have. She mentioned that she craved KFC all the time, and so I don't imagine she was really watching her weight or eating healthy or anything like that. So obviously that makes sense to me. With all those contributing factors, you're gonna gain a lot of weight, you're not gonna be that healthy. Whereas for me, I've been trying to prevent all that. I've been trying to get in my 10K steps a day. I'll do my prenatal workouts at least 3 or 4 times a week. I may not be eating completely healthy, but I know to eat with moderation. I don't eat like I'm feeding 2 whole humans. A baby only needs a few hundred extra calories. I'm not eating an extra 1,000 calories a day. I also still lift things, even though I've been lectured not to. Like, my mom didn't even want me to carry my 6-month-old niece. She said that she was too heavy, and when I carried her, she was like light as a feather. I had no idea what she was talking about. And I mean, that's due to the fact that I used to exercise pre-pregnancy and she's never exercised a day in her life. I also still clean and do things around the house because I don't want to act like I'm incapable or handicapped and have my husband do everything, especially when he already works 10 to 12 hour days. Anyway, so more recently recently, Potato's actually been kicking up a storm. On Tuesday, she was pretty much kicking me all night and keeping me awake. It was as if she was like practicing on the drum set or something. I mean, part of me is glad that she's kicking because at least I know that she's fine in there, but at the same time, I wish it didn't hurt so much. Luckily for me right now, she likes to stick to the bottom of my tummy, and so it's only uncomfortable when I'm sitting at my desk at work because it feels like she has no space to move down there. But I've also read that babies can kick you in the ribs and maybe get their limbs stuck in there, so I'm glad she's not doing that because that would be way more painful. Thanks for sticking with me throughout this vlog, and if you made it to the end, give me a thumbs up. You can also hit the bell and subscribe to my channel over here, that way you're notified when I post a new video, and you can click over here to watch the previous video. Bye!